Hey everybody, this is Gato, and today we're going to be taking a look at this MoltenStrike Cyclone build with Ngamahu's axe. Equipment on the left, but we use Ngamahu's flame because it procs Molten Burst, which will be very important in our Cyclone. We carry all of the MoltenStrike gems on the axe itself. Now, this setup is going to be very similar to the posted build and was based off of the posted build in the forums, and I'll link that below. So Cyclone does not get a whole lot of linked gems, but that's because we're using the MoltenStrike gems on the axe to proc Molten Burst. You're going to see how effective it is shortly. So we carry damage, health, and all of our resistances on a belt, a ring, our gloves, and boots. We run Zoffs and Calms for health and fire, savagery. And then as far as flasks go, we're basically going to stick to a basic Quicksilver. And we're going to run something that I think is very, doesn't have a spotlight on it all the time, Wise Oak. And this for more savage fire damage. We run Taste of Hate, Sulfur, and at series as our other flasks. You'll notice I don't really use health, and it's not an issue in this build, I think. Pretty much never an issue. Now, Death Rush is really the highlight of and difference between this and the forum build. Death Rush procs Onslaught constantly, meaning that as we kill things, we get faster and stay fast. In town, the most important thing is our defenses are maxed. Cyclone, 18k DPS. MoltenStrike, in town, not really high DPS. But this changes significantly when we have our flasks up and we're on the map. And Molten Burst is the most important part of this build. And you can see we're doing, 89 in town. On the actual map, it'll be 10 to 12k. Now, we want this fire resistance high for Wise Oak. Because it's going to make killing things that much easier. So let's start with something that we all know and love, Dried Lake. You can see, some slight increases in DPS. Tooltip doesn't really account for everything that's going on. So let's see, how this looks. So getting right to the point with Vol, he doesn't stand a chance. No boss is really going to stand a chance in this build. You will melt everything and anything around it. But now let's take a look at a T15. So one of the beautiful parts of this build is the T15 is going to look exactly like Dried Lake when we clear it. And it's fucking savage. So when we come in here, same exact thing, and we're just gonna go slaughter everything around us. One thing to note, on T15 maps, this build, if you want to run MF gear, you can replace the boots, the belt, the amulet, and the gloves, and maybe, both rings if you don't want to use Death Rush, but I actually only replace one of the rings, and I keep Death Rush, and I keep my resistance and damage ring on hand for higher tier maps that I'm running, Magic Find on. But all in all, really not a big deal as far as survivability goes, just simply because we're killing everything around us faster than it can kill us. The only time that you might want to switch to a defense ring or replace Death Rush with a defense ring running Magic Find is when you have, say a boss fight. I keep Death Rush on for clear speed, and you can see that it's, going just fine. So, what makes this build tick as far as the passive tree goes? We're spread out quite a bit. This is going to look somewhat similar to the directions that you run with a Brutus led Sprinkler, which is actually, my first major character that I put a lot of time into. But we basically grab a bunch of stuff, elemental overload. I tried to track the mouse in the directions that I grab things and was incorrect. But basically go up until you get the first wildfire gem, go down and get Iron Grip and Lava Lash early on. And then here, oh, you know what? Here, I'm going to reset. Alright, so I track, up this way. I go down and I grab the fire gem, wildfire gem slot. I grab the second one. I don't really go Elementalist till later on. You can grab it for a little bit of quality of life, but it doesn't really matter yet. But we go down, grab Iron Grip. I save Bloodlust for last, I believe. But then I grab Lava Lash. I get Int, so I don't have to carry that on equipment, and can still max out my gems. Then I go up and grab Elemental Overload. And I'm just going to walk through this, but I hope that you guys enjoy the video. Try the build out. Don't drive the prices of its items up, even though it's kind of already happening. Thank you for watching.